webcasting to the world.
Do you remember the moment that you saw yourself in God and God in you, and you were one with the universe and God and everybody?
Knowing the truth about the gospel.
You were one with the prostitutes and pimps and priests and kings, and there was nobody on earth that was better than you nor less than you.
That we are all righteous.
And no one on earth was any less in Christ than anyone else.
That's Mike Williams, and this is the Gospel Revolution.
Hello, this is Daniel Rouse. Would you welcome with me again the founder and president of the Gospel Revolution, Michael Lilborn Williams.
Thank you for that wonderful welcome, Daniel Thomas Rouse. And it is a beautiful day. One would hardly know it's almost winter.
I know. I am surprised up here in Wisconsin there. It's nice and toasty. I was outside in a short sleeve shirt yesterday, Michael.
My goodness. Turning the neighbors on.
Well, I was raking the yard and sweating too, so that probably.
Oh, wow. You were in full-on display show-off mode. Yeah. Now, that shows you my mindset, not Daniel's. So. Anyway, so let's move on quickly. We have, oh my gosh, Daniel, I'm so excited about this show. We've been preparing for it, and then we kind of recapped before we started. And this is what I told Daniel. I said, this is like when I was a kid and there was a new Disney movie out. Goodness gracious, I mean, this is Aladdin, this is Lion King. That's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's so wonderful. However, we have business to take care of, and let's do that quickly.
Yes, we are in Pledge Drive. And so if you haven't participated yet, we are moving forward. We're doing things. We're sharing the gospel with the world. Mm-hmm. We are in our podcast, thanks to the internet. We are listened to in over 200 countries across the world on different podcast platforms, on YouTube. We get comments, we get likes from people all over the world. And all of that is possible because of the listeners like you listening right now who dig deep in the wallet and help us to get this message out as precisely and clearly as we can.
I tell you, I never do a pledge drive anymore without thinking of this story, almost painfully and powerfully true, about Don Bartlett. Gosh, it's really, really strange how that the loss of someone like Don, that loss reappears in almost kind of like waves. But it's not grief. It's just absence. It's just the absence of, and it's really quite amazing. But at the end of Don's life, he had $5,000 to his name. I was in contact with him as often as he could handle, and took every call. I'd drop everything no matter where I was. If I saw that it was him, I would take the call and then get to where I could talk from there because of the situation. And he was growing weaker, with every phone call. And of course, there was times I did try to call him, and up until the last few weeks, there was times that he was able to answer. Anyway, he had these funds. Laura was already in some form of care, and it was, of course, it was during COVID. They weren't able to see each other. It was just a nightmarish situation. And here, Don was coming down to what he was beginning to see as the end of his life, and of course, I was seeing that too. Had so many things stacked against him, just so many things physically stacked against him. And he told me, he said, Michael, I'm concerned that if I do recover from this, he was very pragmatic about it. He said, if I do recover from this, he said, I'm going to need this $5,000. And he said, if I'm concerned if I leave it in my account, they'll just absorb it out of there. And he asked me if I would, if he could send in the $5,000 and I would keep it. And I said, yeah, well, of course. I said, just make it as a donation to the ministry. And then that way, when you need it back, we'll just do it as a contribution from the benevolence fund. There's ways to do these things without, somebody just surreptitiously say, well, which one was wrong doing it this way? I think somebody just taking money out of your account is the worst of the two.
Right. Yeah.
So then came the day, and I remember the final phone call, and I had to ask him what he wanted me to do. So we talked about it, and he was very, very weak. And I said, I can send this off to your daughters. We had accepted the fact that he was not going to make it, and he had gone into it's not hospice, it's the other one because it's inpatient, and hospice is at home, and this one is in the hospital. But it means they're helping you die. And so I'd already received the $5,000 sometime before, and I asked him specifically, what do you want me to do with this? I said, I can pass it on to your daughters or whatever. And then it was like getting hit with something. I don't know. He said, no. He said, Mike, I want the money that I have left. It's not much, he says, but I want it to go to spreading the gospel. Yeah. Now, Don was convinced, being on the inside, what we did with the money. He would have never left those funds to the Mike Williams Ministries when only $5,000 he had, and he chose to leave it to the ministry to use. And I even had Barry Laney. I said, I've got to have somebody confirm this is what you want. And Barry was in contact with him, and he let Barry know that this is indeed what he wanted to be done with his funds. So that's what happened. So we're telling that to make you feel really guilty and pull on your heartstrings. No, I want to really, honestly, I want you to know that that's the type of giving we have. That's that's what people think about this gospel. We identified you as somebody who loves simply by your contribution to this ministry last week, because you're not getting anything out of it except knowing you're helping people.
Michael, and as we think about that, and as our listeners think about supporting the gospel, think about supporting it past your life as Don did, and perhaps put us in a will or some sort of thing like that. Michael, this week, it just happened. We're started pledge drive at work. I'm enrolling in my benefits for the upcoming year. And there's a portion where our company provides a life insurance policy. And then we can purchase an additional one for like $1 a month. And, it's a substantial amount of money. And then it came to the part where you got to list who would get this. Of course, my girls are on their number one, but then it wanted like a contingency plan. Well, what if something happened to me and the girls? Then what would happen to this money? And I certainly don't want lamers to take it. And so, Michael, I went in and I put Mike Williams Ministries in as if something happened to me and the girls, then that money in my passing would pass along to the Gospel Revolution.
Well, it's incredible. But that's the type of contributors we have. It's like Don Bartlett and Daniel Rouse. That is from two people who have been as in the inside as inside can be. There's not an inside and outside to the Gospel Revolution. But as far as people knowing what's happening, Daniel's on the board. He knows where the money is. He knows what's happening with the money. And so the thing that comes to his mind, if in the unthinkable, that this is where that should go. So
yeah,
consider that. Consider the confidence that you see inside. I have totally emptied my account on at least two occasions. And now the last time I did it, but had the ministry pay me back. It's like I promised myself I would never bankrupt myself again to keep the ministry's finances fluid. I did 2 times in my life. During the transition, it was really quite devastating financially and every way. Lost friends. You just would not believe the friends that I've been a really nice person and I'm a good friend, but I've lost friends strictly because of the gospel.
Yeah,
strictly because of the gospel. And it's so. Take those things into consideration as you're measuring what you're going to do, not just, and we really need those monthlies up a bit if you guys can. And if you can't, also Don Bartlett would roll over in his grave whenever I do this. If you can't do this without it impeding your finances or your plans or what you really want to do, please do not try to stretch. Those of you that are, and let me tell you something, we've got people, and please don't think I don't notice, that contribute and have been contributing for years. And we have some that do $10, some that do $75 and $50, and a lot of them come in on PayPal. And I see every one of those. I see those names every single time. And it's like, wow, this is really the heart and soul of what we're doing. So thank you guys for what you're doing. And Gospel Revolution, roll on.
Yes. And you can make those contributions online at gospelrevolution.com and hit the donate link. Or, of course, you can call Michael directly at
832-318-9339.
No, you got nervous as you were drinking that water. Is it?
I did. It's like he's going to say it, and I'm taking a sip. Oh no, what am I doing?
And a big thank you for all of those, Michael. One last thing I just want to say about it is I am so thankful and grateful for Michael. I'm so thankful and grateful for the Gospel Revolution. That means all of you who have supported it, because my life was saved. And my girls, as a benefit of that, a second generation benefit of that, is my children. And thank you. I quiver to think where I would be if it weren't for the Gospel Revolution.
It's unthinkable, isn't it?
It really is.
Just unthinkable.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel, I have been thinking about one thing, and we're going to take just a couple of minutes on this, because my heart just, autism. I've made the mistake of just kind of falling in love with a couple of YouTube videographers who, some of it is the autistic people themselves. They are high functioning enough to where that they've actually got their own little YouTube thing. And I just hope everybody just gives everything they can. Just a like is incredible. But I started thinking about, I've been fascinated with autism for, ever since that I knew what it was. And in my lifetime, we didn't know what autism was, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. If it was a word, I didn't know it. But now we understand it. We think it's more prevalent now than ever before. But we've got to understand, we are connected in a way we were never connected before.
Yeah.
So always discount those statements that you make about, and we all make about, why is there so many now? Well, it's that maybe it's that you know about them. Maybe people have been suffering like this forever. Why are there more gay people now? It's really, there's never been any change or fluctuation in the numbers that I've ever seen about people who are gay, and it's always been there. It's in every society, every recorded society. The only difference is how peaceful gay people can or cannot live based on the society they're in. There's been cultures they've been revered and almost made deities because of who they are. That's not the norm. Nobody wanted to make me a deity whenever I finally was able to be honest. So that was
holy one.
I know. But this issue of autism, and if you think you know what causes it, that's the thing that's kind of got a rub in me, is the people that say that autism's caused by this, is caused by that. And then there may be some truth to any and all of them. We're not going to address any one of them. But believe me, there's as many as flavors of soft drinks as there is opinions about autism. So, but here's my question. Autism, and then you guys know that this is close to my heart because I've brought these people up before.
Yeah.
And this condition that they deal with. I've spoken up to you of the young girl who was visiting with her parents to New York City. They got a room in New Jersey and oversee the entire skyline. I think she was even nonverbal. And then they go home and she's in her room drawing and drawing and drawing. And then they finally realize she has drawn the entire skyline of New York City. Every single window in every single building, every fire escape, every crane, all of it was there. They've gone in and had people to examine this, and they have done comparisons. She didn't miss a window, nothing. That is a brilliance that with our understanding of the gospel, I'd say that part is kind of like the angelic, if angelic is moving. And we got it. We have people. One of the most prevalent ones is people being autistic and at many different ages, suddenly having access to a piano or a stringed instrument or something, and they sit down and Mozart starts being played. So now everybody knows that this is true. So what my question is, whatever you think causes autism, does it cause the angelic part of them also?
Yeah.
We need an answer for autism. We need an answer for cancer. We need an answer for everything. But, and the parents, to watch a parent with an autistic child try to help the autistic child modulate their emotions and not suffer. You see them, they get overstimulated and they just stand in the middle of the floor screaming with their head covered up. They can't take anymore. But let me tell you something. You guys, anybody that knows anyone who's a parent of an autistic child, do something nice for them. I don't know that I've seen any greater love for a child than someone who is constantly, every moment they're with the child. You're not just there. You can't just let the child go do something on their own. You're constantly there because they don't have a temperature gauge for where their emotions are. And it's all based on external influence. That's been my gospel revolution humanitarian moment. It's just what's on my heart right now. Daniel, you've seen this condition, and before we go into this incredible teaching that we're about to do, you got 2 daughters, and neither one of them have any degree of autism. And my grandson, goodness, he is he modulates and moderates his emotions better than any adult in his life. And so I'm so blown away. And I think that comparison is what touches me so deeply, is that it can so easily happen to anybody. And boy, I really wish somebody out there was right. But doing or not doing certain things has never proven to be the source of this condition. Has it increased? I don't know, because I always consider, like I said, we just simply know things. We know things that's happening in tiny little villages in the middle of Bavaria that no one would have ever even known about. So, what do you think about it?
This school year, I've actually had, and I really consider it a privilege, of the bus route that I have been driving is for a special needs school, and it's every student there.
I had forgotten about that, Daniel.
Yeah, they're all special needs, and so on my route, I have 8 special needs students. One is in a wheelchair, and I think he has cerebral palsy. And we have a whole wide range of special needs students on there, a couple autistic children as well. And Michael, my heart has grown, and I just love. It's actually the highlight of my day.
Wow.
I used to loathe the part of the day where you had to get in the bus and start driving everyone to school and work in the office, but I actually look forward to the end of the day and going to the school and loading up and spending, an hour with these kids. And you talk about the parents. I think about the parents who, they come on the bus and get the kids off because they're all buckled in and whatever. And so I encounter these parents and I think, my gosh, the dedication and the love and just the joy. I mean, I got this one family, the little girl. I'm not exactly sure on what the title of her condition is, but the family comes on and they are so full of joy and they love on her so much. And I think, my gosh, they really, really love this girl. And then to come find out, they adopted her. And very well knowing, the condition that she had and they went out of their way and just fell in love with her and adopted her. So yeah, big heart for these people and just what they do, the parents, the dedication to them, the staff at the school. It's just amazing to see how they work with these students and, talk about emotions. You have the very sweet side of them, but they also don't know how to control their tempers and all that too. And just the grace and everything to watch people work with it. It's a beautiful experience.
Well, I think these people make us better people. I think they make those parents better parents. There's something about knowing there's no intent in their unmodulated moments. That, and they can get on a point and just beleaguer it to death. I saw one of them said, "Mama, you sat on my bed. Mama, you sat on my bed. Mama, you sat on my bed." No, Ty, I didn't sit on your bed. No, there's a butt print on my bed. You sat on my bed. No, Ty, I didn't sit on my bed. So what do we do, Ty? How do we do? And then they go into how to deconstruct the moment. And they're like, my God, I need somebody like that in my life. Right. But here's the thing. There's a lot of love in this world, Daniel.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I see the vitriol, but I'm telling you, there are Democrats who have autistic children who love those children to that degree. There are Republicans who have autistic children that if you could get past the politics, if you could get past all this, and it's not that you should forget your political position. We're not encouraging anybody to change anything, but we can be softer with each other. We can take these edges off, because I'll guarantee you that the very same heart that Daniel has seen in those parents, they are Republican, they are Democrat, they are independent, they are around the world, they are communist, they are Maoist, they are everything you can think of. But this world is filled with love.
Yeah. Yep.
It is filled with love.
Mm-mm-mm.
You say, but what about all the other stuff? We'll give that another day.
Yeah.
Let's give love a chance here.
Yeah.
Let's acknowledge, my God, the love that is in this world is unmeasurable, and the love that was expressed toward us by God Himself, in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
Yeah.
You say, well, why are you beefing on the mystics then? Because they don't know the love of God.
Mm.
And we need them to know the love of God, because the scriptures agree that Paul made it very clear that the only way we truly know the love of God is to know that while the world was in sin, Christ died for that sin.
Yeah.
And when you say it could have been anybody's blood, you say it didn't need to die for sin, all of these things. One of our close friends is posting things on Facebook now, and Don Bartlett would stand up and give him a little talking to, but he's going very mystic about things never being sin and stuff like that. But that's not the gospel, folks. So it's easy to get caught by this laser light and think you're focusing on love, 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 love. But you're not. You're departing from the love of God, not getting closer to it.
Yeah. Well, Michael, we have something very exciting to share with everybody today. But I want to remind of a few of the topics that we have been discussing in the last year, 2 years or so, maybe even 3 years now. We get the 1,000-year reign of Christ, where we see that the 1,000-year reign of Christ is not a futuristic event, but it was something that happened. And we know the end of that is that when the enemies were made a footstool, and according to the teaching in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, Paul says that was the cross. And that last enemy to be made a footstool was death, and he conquered that. And therefore, according to the guidelines of the 1,000-year reign of Christ, that was the end. The cross was the end of the 1,000-year reign of Christ. And when we realized that, we went back in time from that point. We realized something very dramatic happened. And that was King David was put as king over Israel. And so the 1,000-year reign of Christ is that period of time. Another thing that we discovered was the over 7,000 times that the name of Christ was removed. Now, where do those two meet? Well, very much it was the 1,000-year reign of Christ.
Yeah.
And by taking Christ out of the scriptures, you take Christ out of that reign. And that's why so many people put it in the future, is because they don't realize that Christ was active before he was born on the earth as a human being. He had a role, and we're going to walk through some of that today. But Michael, those two are so huge. And the other thing I was thinking about, and as we're going to go into Psalms here today, I remember this Psalm and reading this Psalm and many of the other Psalms and making it all about me. Isn't that a big problem, Michael? I would read it and I'd think, okay, here's my victory. Here's God doing this for me. Here's God doing moving this for me and making it
rescuing me from all of my troubles.
Yep. Me.
I'm so glad you got past that, Daniel.
Yeah. I think about one of the professors I had at Rhema, and he would it's funny in that environment that he would say something like this. There's a song that we used to sing at Rhema, and it goes, "It's all about you, nobody else. It's all about you." And he used to start class sometimes, and he'd start singing, and he'd start singing, "It's all about me, nobody else, because it's all about me." And all the class was looking at him like, huh? He's like, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Half of you here are here because it's all about you, and you're looking to see what you can get out of the deal." And I thought, hey, this is good preaching.
There you go.
And yeah, we just got to get ourselves out of the story, out of the picture, and realize, like we talked about last week, this covenant we have was God and Christ and Christ and Christ, Christ and Christ working together to bring this wonderful, wonderful work. And Michael, so with all that said, I wanted that to be on the minds of people as we go in the 1,000-year reign of Christ working, how the Hebrew Scriptures have removed the name of Christ, and understanding it's not about me. It's not a personal thing. It was between God and Christ.
Yes, and let us make sure that history tells you where this began to be removed. We know that it was codified after the cross, the best we can tell, because you've got to understand that a very deliberate cover-up of this event, and even when it happened. But if you follow through as to when it would have been of a necessity for it to happen, it would have been after Christ said, "I am."
Yeah.
2 times.
Mm-hmm.
And remember the Pharisees and the scribes. None of these are positions that God set up. This is what the Jewish religion set up. The scribes and the Pharisees, and what did Jesus equate? The appointment of a scribe and a Pharisee. It's equal with hypocrite.
Yeah.
So this was not priest and king and things that God set up. This was what man set up. And it is equivalent to hypocrite. In every case, there's not a good Pharisee. Because they're not fair, you see, right? So,
thank you.
I got your line, all right? So, this line, and it says, we're letting you know this is the best that we can follow in this cover-up, and it was a cover-up. The Christians were complicit to this cover-up because they didn't want a Jewish savior.
Yeah.
Look at the paintings. They did not want a Jewish savior. They wanted a blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jesus, well, light brown hair maybe. But so you're going to take Christ, you're going to take I am out of the Hebrew text. Go ahead. We don't want anything to do with you guys anyway. So the Christianity was as complicit to this in its early development as anything. And the cover-up was as complicit on both sides.
And that is the same time that you get the implementation, that was easy to say, of the name Jesus.
Yes.
Then this is where they Christianized and Europeanized and Latinized Christ's name. And instead of Yeshua, Lord Jehovah, now you have Jesus.
Yes. So if you take out the name Christ, what are you going to put in there? Josh, what are they going to do? So they had to come up with a unique name, so they made one.
Yeah.
And now you can go in and, no, this name is holy. It was done this way, and a revelation came, and this, and this is a derivative of that, and that's a derivative. Oh, somebody's just missing the name of Jesus. And let me tell you something. It's just false.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And we're not going to participate in falsehoods if we are aware of it. Now, could we possibly be involved in a falsehood? We could be.
Yeah. But
none that we know of. And we're just not going to go there. I personally have decided to try to curb my appetite for using the name Jesus. I'm not going to be afraid of it. But I do want to acknowledge that all of this hyper emotional stuff developed around it has kept people locked into a quote personal encounter. There's just something about that name, and it has kept them from knowing Christ.
Yeah.
Knowing Christ.
Oh, come on.
You believe in Jesus, but you got to know Christ. That may be the best thing I've ever said.
Yeah. Michael, one of the places that we were on this, because we've gone through some of these, we've gone through some of the restoring of the Christ in the Hebrew Scriptures. We saw him very active, and one that stands out to us, Michael, is Psalm 19. And this is also, we'll do a plug for the Lilborn equation. This is where we saw this intersection of so much beautiful science behind the creation.
Oh, it is there.
Yeah, Psalm 19. And it starts off this way. It says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. And in this, we see the active role of Christ, the law of the law of Lord Jehovah. This is that YHWH is perfect. The statutes of the Lord, the statutes of Christ, the fear of Christ, the judgments of Christ. This is all in this chapter. And Michael, this is a picture of Christ's work in creation. And we walked through so much of that, and that's beautiful. And we didn't know then that was setting the stage for even more of the Psalms. But I wanted to point out there that this was a place that we had sat in. We had gone through this Psalm 19. You can go back probably a couple months in our shows, and you can find that one about the creation. And you can see that Christ's role in creation, which shows us that, again, even before the 1,000-year reign of Christ, there was an eternal reign of Christ.
Exactly. And to touch on your point again on the plug for the Lilborn equation, LILBORN equation.com, where you'll find 600 documents now and growing all the time. But we have what Daniel just read to you. We have the physics to back it up. And it backs up the physics. The physics backs it up. Christianity gets on a debate stage with a evolutionist, and their response to evolution and all of their implied science is, well, but the Bible says. Well, you're going to have to come up with something better than that, and I have. Our whole team, we have the whole team, Daniel, me, my daughter, and Thomas Jackson Bernard. We got 2 Thomases, and my daughter's mother's last name was Thomas. So it's like we got the invasion of the Thomases. I can't get away from them. So, anyway, this has just been incredible. We're not going to go into that at all, but we do want you to know that an entire framework of physics has been established. It's functional. It is definable about creation. We have the physics of creation declared. Now that means you have to undeclare some things. But we've proven what they say has been proven. But nobody's ever challenged them because they didn't know anything else to turn to. We now have something to compare it with. So the interesting thing about this, as this begins in 19, we did not identify the fact that the name for God will stick with God the Father, because that's our parameters and our paradigms that we think in as God the Father and God the Son in incarnate form. And of course, this is not Son here, but it is Christ. Christ did become the Son and the incarnate Son. But Christ was in existence. He's always been. We know that from first record of any intelligible communicating entities, it was what we call Father and Son. And before anything was created, there was communication. And then let there be is the birth of physics, because that's sound. Let there be light. That's physics. There was light. Light governs everything. so we what we're wanting to acknowledge here is all the way throughout Psalms, this other name that is used that identifies this, and you'll see them communicating with each other by identity of names, Father and Son. We will stick with that just for clarity, and acknowledge to you that is not the capacity in which they are communicating. It's the capacity in which we are able to differentiate them for clarity of the moment.
Yeah.
We will get to where that we can define this better as we go. You may be able to help us find that. So we can point out to you where God the Word. It gets complicated because Christ is the Word, but then they identify the Word. That tells you the unity here because it's very difficult to identify except in the exact words that are used.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what has given us this insight into this particular part of the Hebrew Scriptures. So we can show you where that name for not Christ is, meaning God, but not Christ, is throughout Psalms and throughout the Scriptures. But what we have here is 3 chapters beginning with 19 to where that this 19, 20, and 21, especially 20, which we're going to go into today, and it talks about a communication, but it's not the other name.
Mm-hmm.
It's the name Christ talking to the name Christ.
Yeah.
So we freaked out a little bit. It's like, what's happening here? And so this is the result of that. You have never in your life heard such a thing, but it's going to make so much sense. What happened when we encountered the 1,000-year reign is we encountered that Christ reigned until the cross. Christ became incarnate 30 years before the cross. But Christ did not leave being seated at the right hand of the Father while he was Christ incarnate. Both roles were being fulfilled. How do you know that, Mike? Because it says, sit here at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 describes that moment to be the death, burial, and resurrection. So that 1,000-year, there's a continuity of the reign of Christ over all for 1,000 years. And then you have the incarnate Christ coming into play. So during 30-year period of time, you have Christ relating to Christ.
Wow. Yeah, and as we go into specifically today, this chapter 20, and we've already done 19, we got 20 and 21. As you go into reading these, that's exactly the relationship you see is Christ and Christ, the pre-incarnate Christ and the carnate Christ. And what you see, incarnate Christ, sorry, what you see is that relationship. And this is a foretelling. This is a prophecy. This is this was that during that 1,000 years, this is being declared before it ever happened. And
so this is a picture. This is a picture of the 30 years, where both were in.
Yeah.
So you've got chapter 20 is suddenly a snapshot of the 30 years in which Christ was existent in human form and maintained his seating at the right hand at the same time. Now we can prove it because they were talking to each other.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm getting excited. Well, I might get Pentecostal on you here today. Michael, how about we go ahead and read? It's only, I think it's 9 verses. I'll go ahead and read through it, and then we can back up and we can go through it verse by verse, look at it, dig into it. What do you think? Should I read it? Should I read it out of Tov's Bible so we can see the names?
I tell you what, let's first read it in the, I would prefer the KJV, but I don't think you even own one.
I got a digital here. Okay, this is Psalm 20 out of Michael's beloved KJV, the only true translation.
The anointed one.
The Lord, capital Lord, hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of the God of Jacob defend thee. Send thee help from the sanctuary and strengthen thee out of Zion. Remember all of thy offerings and accept thy burnt sacrifice. Selah. Grant thee according to thine own heart and be fulfill all thy counsel. We will rejoice in thy salvation, and in the name of our God we will set up our banners. The Lord, capital Lord, fulfill all thy petitions. Now know that I, the Lord, Lord, saveth his anointed. He will hear from his holy heaven with the saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots, some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our God. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand up. Save, Lord. Let the King hear us when we call.
Daniel, this has been read over. The only verse anybody in our audience or anybody else's audience knows at all is some trust in chariots, some trust in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our God. Hey, hey. That's the only part. And some of you wondered where in the world that came from. But that's the only verse out of here. So thank you for reducing yourself to the King James Version for me. But the reason Daniel was spelling this out is because there's one of the ways that they admit that this is the word Christ is by capitalizing Lord. They don't put the name back in, but translators knew that they knew this word was taken out. They can see it, and really the only way they can see it is out of very limited access to any scrolls that would. Now the Dead Sea Scrolls confirms it that this name used to be in there. It was removed. And so what they're doing by capitalizing Lord is letting you know, we acknowledge in this modern day translation, something screwy went on here. And that's the only thing they can do is capitalize. We can go several steps further than that. We can let you know they are correct to identify this, but it's not just here. There's other places in this chapter. So as Daniel said, we always read this. You always read it. Oh, yes, I'm not going to trust in chariots or horses. I'm going to trust in the name of the Lord my God. And he's going to come to me in the day of trouble. He's going to come rushing out of the sanctuary. And
hallelujah.
Yeah. You notice it said he's going to come out of the sanctuary to come help you. So that means if you go to church to find something, he doesn't that. So anyway, that's all free. You don't even have to even thank me for it. Go jump on your horse and get in your chariot and leave because he already left the sanctuary. So the power of these 9 verses here is a dialogue between the Christ that is seated at the right hand of the throne of the Father. And all of this is a picture of the 30 years that the Christ was seated at the right hand of the Father, waiting until the manifestation of the incarnate Christ on earth brought him to the point of where that they, I hate to say they because it's not they're one, obviously, which has always been a stumbling point for everybody, no matter what you believe, is describing one. What does one mean? Well, it doesn't mean two. That's what it means. And that's as deep as I can get with you, folks. One means not two. But here we do have this communication going on between what at this point in this prophetic book is Christ speaking about Christ. Now, Daniel, let's go through this now. And what would you like to do? Read this from the translation, the Rose translation?
Sure, we can do that. Yeah, the Lord Jehovah, Messiah pre-incarnate, hear you in the day of trouble, in the name of God Elohim, the living word, the many-powered of Yaakov, which is Jacob, heel of God, defend you. Send your help from the sanctuary and strengthen you out of Zion. Remember all of your offerings and accept your burnt offerings. Selah. Grant you according to your own heart and fulfill all your counsel. We will rejoice in your salvation, and in the name of our God Elohim, the living word, many-powered one, we will set up our banners. The Lord Jehovah, Messiah pre-incarnate, fulfill all your petitions. Now I know that the Lord Jehovah, Messiah pre-incarnate, saves his anointed king. He will hear from him from his holy mount heaven. He will hear from him from his holy heaven with saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots, some in horses, but we will remember the name of Lord Jehovah, Messiah pre-incarnate, our God Elohim, the living word. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright. Save, Lord Jehovah, Messiah pre-incarnate. Let the King hear us when we call.
So, Daniel, this is incredible. But the thing that we need to point out is that the people who have studied where this has been removed, it has been translated different ways. Like we said, capital Lord is always Christ. But also the term Elohim is also where YHWH was removed and Elohim was replaced. All right. So here you have, as Tove has very accurately put in here about this, about these places, but the term Elohim also means Christ. And I've heard people teach on this before, they've actually admitted and been able to decipher that Elohim is talking about Christ. So here you have Christ talking about rescuing Christ. It's just absolutely amazing.
Wow.
It made me think about where that the soldiers came up to Jesus and said, if you're who you are, save yourself.
Yeah.
Now, we're not saying, let me tell you what we're not saying, that God we know as Father, we're not saying he had nothing to do with this, but you've got to see that salvation is of the Lord. Salvation is of Yahweh, YHWH. And this salvation being between the manifestation of Christ in he never left that position at the right hand of the throne, never left it until all of his enemies were made his footstool. But he was also here on earth. So here is the documentation of the communication between the two during that 30 years.
My goodness.
Like I said, it's Lion King and Little Mermaid and all of them mixed together. So the power of these statements. And as we look down to it, Daniel, let's look at the things where we thought it was talking about us. And just with that also, do you have anything that has come to mind as we're doing this? And then let's follow up with that.
No, I think that'd be a great step, and we can do that right here in verse 1. And like I said, I mean, you just mentioned it, and I said when I used to read this, I remember reading this as well. May the Lord answer you in the day of trouble. So that was a point. Oh, I'm in trouble, Lord. Lord, hear me. Yeah. Hear me, Lord. As if there was some battle going on. this was not a prayer for a personal battle that you might be facing, some personal trouble you might find yourself in. This is the cross. This is Christ pre-incarnate declaring the reality that he was going to have this day of flesh and this day of affliction. And this was all, like we said, this was the Christ at the right hand of God and Christ incarnate. These are the two communicating together. May the Lord answer you in the day of trouble, in the day of the cross.
And it is affirmed throughout the Hebrew scriptures, and the definitive of "the" is absolute in the Hebrew. Mm-hmm. It's not a day of trouble; it's the day. The Hebrew says that this is a specific day. Mm. The Hebrew says this isn't left in the Hebrew for you to make it about you. If it's about you, it's a certain day of your life when you are in trouble if it's about you. Mm-hmm. But it's about somebody and a specific day in somebody's existence called the day of trouble. Yeah. It is singular. It is a decisive day. Mm. Not the day of trouble, But there's many direct implications of this. Isaiah 53, he was oppressed, he was afflicted, but it pleased the Lord to crush him. Isaiah 63, the day of vengeance was in my heart, and the year of my Redeemer had come. Isaiah 63, 4, that is the very same thing. The day of vengeance, judgment borne by Christ, the year. This has always fascinated me. I remember it grabbing my attention more than 35 years ago. The day of the vengeance and the day of the mercies of our God. All was the same day. That's the day of trouble, folks. Isaiah 61, to proclaim the acceptable year of Christ and the day of the vengeance of our God. Zechariah, awake, O sword. Smite the shepherd. That is Zechariah 13:7. And then we go on into the next chapter, Psalms 22. I am poured out like water. Dogs have surrounded me. They've pierced my hands and my feet. Why have you forsaken me? Mm-hmm. That's the day of trouble mentioned in the previous chapter. Psalm 69:17. Hide not thy face from thy servant, for I am in trouble. Lamentations 1:12. Joel 2:1 and 2. The day of the Lord, a day of darkness, a day of gloom. The day of trouble as the culmination of the 1,000-year reign. The end of the Davidic line, the arrival of the anointed king, judgment placed on him, mercy released from him. And this is exactly what is seen in Psalms 20. Christ, before flesh, speaking over his own life, especially the cross, the day of trouble.
Wow.
Let's take up the offering now. Folks, do you realize you've been freed from the delusion of the day of trouble? My own daughter almost took her life thinking that the horrible day of trouble that came to her when she was being molested as an 8-year-old and continued. She'd been taught by her word of faith father that all she had to do is pray and the Lord would come to her and help her. She prayed. And she asked Jesus to come and rescue her from this. And because he did not, she decided in her mind that it must be okay with God.
My God.
Now, you think that this is not an important subject? If that story, I've got 1,000 just like them, and you do too. How many of you have called on the Lord in the day of trouble? And even though they stand and they still say it, it doesn't work. Let me say it right. It don't work.
Yeah.
Daniel called on the Lord in the day of trouble when he got the phone call that his mother had been in a car accident. It don't work.
Don't work.
You end up blaming the person that was in trouble for what happened. She didn't read her Bible enough. I'm getting steamed. All right, you got to bring me down off the ledge. The day of trouble. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? The day of trouble was the cross, not our lives. What does that mean to us then, Mike? That means no matter what trouble comes your way, you can make it through it. Because mercy was what Christ turned around and showed to all of us based on all of our deeds, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. And out of this day of trouble came the day of mercy also. Trouble and rescue and resurrection and mercy and righteousness that came out of it.
Wow.
Next verse, please.
Verse 2, Michael. May he send you help from the sanctuary and strengthen you out of Zion.
Oh, my God, Daniel.
This is not angels or armies. You remember, like they told him, you call on, and he said, I could call on a legion of angels. Yeah. And this is not what is happening. This is that idea and understanding of being in the presence of God, being in the very sanctuary. This is the one who's in heaven. This is eternally reigning from heaven until his enemies are made his footstool. And Michael, we have a glimpse of this even when Jesus prayed in John 17. Remember that beautiful prayer that they may be one as you and I are one? That was an establishment, and that was showing this guarantee of what was going to happen. This is something that would not be broken. This is the way it would be. It was your incarnate mission will not be abandoned by your eternal presence. This was the two working together hand in hand.
Aladdin and Lion King eat our dust. This is the most powerful story ever told in the annals of the history of mankind, before creation or after. This is the point, folks. This is the point. And everybody they are diminishing it. I don't even know that they're trying to diminish it. They're just ignorant. And what do you mean by ignorant, Mike? You're insulting. No, I mean it truly as the word ignorant. They're ignoring the facts. They're not stupid. They could know the facts if they'd stop ignoring them. Why do you ignore and become ignorant? You ignore and become ignorant because you have a confirmation bias you're reaching out for. And a lot of people along their journey, they find out that Jesus, the Christ, is not the one that was explained in church. And they take that one point as to what, oh my God, no, it's one verse that Christ is the very expression of the very image of God himself. Oh my God, that means none of this. Well, it means something, and it means everything, and even more powerful than what you think it does. But it doesn't mean you erase all the Hebrew scriptures. That's like standing on the rug and letting it support you and pulling it out from under yourself all at the same time. It's ignorant. And I know I'm telling people they're ignorant, and I'm not insulting them, but I know that's hard to convince you of. But it's not meant to insult. It's meant to wake up. Yeah. And because this dismissal of Christ, this dismissal of sin, this dismissal of, it was just man's mindset that got changed, it's not in the scriptures. It's not in the New Testament. This is a debate you're having in your head, and even Peter, James, and John would not have agreed with you. Paul or Hebrews does not agree with you.
The Hebrew text does not agree with you, but you can write forever about it. Just like Mormons can write about the copper tablets. It doesn't mean they're real. Let's keep going.
Verse 3. Well, you see, it's all about what you did, though. Remember all of your offerings and accept your burnt sacrifice. But again, who's offering and who sacrificed? This is Christ speaking of his own incarnate ministry. His offering in the 1,000-year reign, David to the cross. His offering in his flesh, the 3-year ministry, and his offering at the cross, the fulfillment of this.
Yeah.
This verse is the eternal Christ,
Yes,
the pre-incarnate Christ, acknowledging the offering made by the incarnate Christ.
Yeah.
A perfect internal reflection.
Now, see, there could be some questions about you guys are coming up with a story. And that would be true if we did not have the name Christ in both places.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is not ambiguous at all. This is a communication with the communication with. And you say, but it says burnt offering. The offering was burnt. It was consumed by fire. Every sacrifice for sin had to be consumed by fire. Have you not read about the consuming fire of God?
Come on.
The sacrifice of Christ was consumed by fire. And it is, I remember 45 years ago, a man walking up to me, and folks, I listen, even when you startle me, even when I think that there's something loose in your head, I listen anyway. And this gentleman walked up to me after a teaching. He had heard me teaching in a way he had never heard before, so he felt at liberty. I think this is one of those places where that, people get an insight and then they jump up and down on it instead of looking around and seeing what's around that insight. And that's called a denomination. And you just jump up and down on that one thing. It's like a trampoline. It's like one of those little circle jump trampolines, and all you're doing is going up and down on the same thing. You're not moving anywhere. Copper tablets, baptized in the name of Jesus, on 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 the name of Jesus. And this guy was bouncing on his own little personal trampoline. And it doesn't mean there's nothing there. But he came up to me and he said, Mike, he said, you do believe that the scriptures, that Christ fulfilled all of the scriptures. He said, I'm hearing you say that. And I said, yes, I do. He said, you must believe that Jesus' body was not buried. It was burned. And turned around and walked off.
Talk about dropping a bomb.
And that's 45 years ago, folks. And I kept it. I kept it. I thought, okay, jump up and down on your own little trampoline. That's what I think about it now, not then. But I knew there was something to what he said. And I probably thought about it for 15 to 20 years. And finally, I got it. He is correct, but he's trying to apply the physical to the spiritual. So what Christ did in that sacrifice, number one, this was a human sacrifice, and so human sacrifices were strictly forbidden by the Hebrew scriptures. Christ broke every law pertaining to sacrifices, and everything that he did also fulfilled the law, but he broke so many of the sacrificial laws. And thus carrying out both sides of this obedience, disobedience, obedience, disobedience, obedience, disobedience. If that's the way that plays out, that's the way I'm seeing it in my head right now. Yes, the Selah, yes, you better Selah, because if not, you're going to think it's about yours or the Jewish offerings and sacrifices and temple offerings and sacrifices. This is Selah. I'm beginning to think now that Selah may mean you just learned something about Christ and don't know it.
Yeah.
We may do a whole Selah series now. So, but yes, you're exactly right, Daniel. I think in that this is talking about not only that day, but now we're getting down to the nitty gritty of what happened that day.
Verse 4, grant thee according to thy own heart. Now, here's some questions about this, Michael. Who else could this refer to but Christ? Whose heart did God ever grant entirely? No king, no prophet, no priest, no man was ever given the desires of their heart without qualification, except one, except the Son. Man. This is the eternal Christ affirming that the incarnate Christ desire, that's the finished work of the cross, that would be the thing that would be granted.
Yeah, and the desire of the incarnate Christ was to redeem the world, and God granted it to him.
Yeah.
This is just, folks, the more we extricate, as Daniel has so aptly explained to you earlier on, and we've tried to do for decades now, extricate yourself from the scriptures and you will see the meaning of the scriptures. As long as you're in it, you will not find Christ in it.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at this. We're only going through 9 verses. And look at what we are already able to see simply because we took ourselves out of it. Only. Yeah. I mean, just that one element itself. The other element is that we found out that the name Christ was taken out. We know what places that it was, where it took it out. And we now are able to see this conversing between Christ seated at the right hand and Christ incarnate on earth. A 30-year, this 9 verses. And I think it goes on into, 19, 20, and 21. And it goes on into it because I just quoted some verses from you to you from 21. And it is about that time, and more specifically about that day of trouble. In fact, we may be able to narrow this down and be able to tell you by the next podcast that this conversation was not about, it didn't take place in the 30 years. We may be able to tell you it was on the day.
Yeah.
This is the day. This is the day.
The day.
This is the day that the Lord hath made. And that term Lord is Christ.
Yeah.
I will rejoice and be glad in the day of trouble. I'm supposed to rejoice in the day of trouble and the day of the vengeance. You better believe it. You better rejoice in that day.
Wow.
And how many times did I ever get up, depressed or just in somebody that was hurting, and I'm supposed to walk into a hospital room where somebody has just died and families grieving, and they may start saying, "This is the day, this is the day, let the Lord have made." I got tired of the collisions in my head. Now nothing collides. Yeah. Many would say, because there's nothing there. Nothing there, no collisions, no traffic, no collisions. Traffic's still running, a little slower maybe than it used to, but the fact of it is I don't have a single collision in my head about life and spirituality and Christ and who he is.
Wow.
No collisions. There's none there. Nothing creates but why, God? Why? Why me? Why this? Why now? Why not then? Why this? Why that? I don't have any whys. I don't. I remember so clearly more than, it's been 30 years ago now. Why is the only question that blinds the eye. When it comes to what happens to you and what role God is playing in it. It's just the fact of it is God is not playing a role in it. That's why the why is so devastating. is because you're speaking into an absolute vacuum where nothing exists.
Verse 5, we will rejoice in thy salvation. Now, as we talk about who's the topic of this, Israel doesn't give salvation. David didn't give salvation. We don't give salvation.
Yeah.
This is heaven speaking. This is the plurality of the Christ.
Yeah.
We will rejoice in your salvation, the finished work of the cross being foretold. And the second half of that verse is, may the Lord, may the Christ fulfill all your petitions. And Michael, you've been preaching on that one for years.
Yeah. Yeah. The only petitions that were filled were the petitions of Christ. He prayed his petitions in the book of John, didn't he?
John 17.
That we would be one even as he and the Father are one. So petition fulfilled. Let's petition the Lord. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. I think about then, make your petitions known before God. And then these people on money, make a vow to God, make a vow to God. It's not about you. And how many people got caught in their vows to God. And nutcases controlling people and raking in money. And one of them I spoke for, very first satellite meetings that ever were on planet Earth. I spoke in those meetings. That was the first broadcast by satellite around the planet from any church on Earth ever. Robert Tilton. And I remember before I went out, before I was going to speak, he was trusting Norval to let me on there. He protected that, of course. This was a domain to be protected. And he warned me back in the green room, which was actually separate from the church itself. Everything was growing so fast, they had to put like a double wide out back that had the quarters for, and it was guarded and all of this. It was just so ridiculous. And the best that I can remember, I remember being detached. But he stopped me before I walked out the door, and he said, "You better not mess this up."
Wow.
That was his instructions to me. And later they found out that all these prayer requests and stuff that were coming in, they found the prayer request unopened, and the place where the money went was all opened, and they could tell that nobody had ever read any of the prayer requests. They were in the dumpster. You've had charlatans do this to you. Are you saying this guy? Yeah, he's a charlatan. I don't know what he's doing. Anybody that takes up money and tells you that God's going to answer your prayer because you sent in money, they don't know their blank from a hole in the ground. Fill in the blank. You can make it anything you want. This is crazy, folks. I cannot, the thing that is most inconceivable to me, from where we are today, I can't even imagine I was part of such ridiculousness. Just what you are learning at this moment. Yes, we have left Lion King and Little Mermaid in the dust. This is the most magnificent story you've ever heard.
And it gets better. Verse 6, Michael, this is where the rubber hits the road. Now know I that the Lord saveth his anointed. This is the verse that breaks it wide open. Wow. This is Christ eternal speaking. Now I know YHWH saves his anointed. He didn't save. Now listen to the specifics of this verse, because he didn't save Israel. He didn't save David. He's talking about the anointed, saving the anointed one. One translation said the anointed king. This is the structure. Christ as YHWH, the pre-incarnate Christ, saves Christ as the anointed, the incarnate. The resurrection is already written into the grammar. And Michael, we went and looked because when we were going through this, we said, this is too good to be true.
Yeah.
We're reading into this. So we had to go find some other places. And we found one amongst many, Psalm 16. You've heard this verse before many times. You will not leave my soul in Sheol.
Yeah.
Michael, Psalm 16 has the same conversation between the pre-incarnate Christ and the incarnate Christ. It's the same relationship, the same conversation going on. And in that, where it says, now I know that the Lord saveth his anointed. This is that work between Christ at the right hand and Christ on the earth. You will not leave my soul in Sheol. You will hear from him from his holy heaven.
Well, and what this does is places salvation completely in the containment of Christ and Christ alone.
Yes, thank you.
No other. Yes, we have all of creation. Yes, we have, and we've still yet to ferret all of that out in comparison to this. But folks, this is as solid as it gets. You say, well, where's this? Where's that? Where does this fit? That I don't know. But you got to test the ground where you are and then move from there. Let's find out if this is real. Now, if you think it's not real, let us know why you think it's not real, and we'll cover that. We'll try to, and we might back up and change our minds. You've known us to do that. So, but the reality of this is becoming not just contextually unassailable, it by volume of mention is becoming unassailable. It already is. Yeah. You'd have a hard time trying to prove this wrong at this point. And that's not all. I mean, there's more. So you have this incredible salvation is of the Lord. Bam. I never knew what that meant until now.
Yeah.
Salvation is of the Christ. And that's between heaven and earth. Salvation is of Christ.
Wow.
My God.
Wow.
He's double Lord. He's double Savior.
Yeah. Lord of heaven and
Lord of heaven, Lord of earth.
Wow.
He sewed up both ends. He took both ends. He put the two together. And
and we're not in the mix to mess it up.
Yeah, we're not in there, and because that's talk about a fly in the ointment, you know. That's all we could be, and and we're not there, folks. God, we are the ones who have been changed. Not from alcoholic to sober, not from gay to straight. We were on the world, not us individually. We were changed. Humanity was changed into something incorruptible 2,000 years ago. Humanity became incorruptible. Humanity became incorruptible. Until this corruption puts on incorruption. And this mortal puts on immortality.
You're preaching, brother.
Incorruptible.
Wow. Verse 7. Some trust in chariots, some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord, the Christ pre-incarnate, our God, Elohim. So the two.
The two again.
We'll remember the two. This is not a battlefield. What is this about? It's not about the horses or the chariots. It's not about the systems of man. It's about the anointed one.
It's about the one.
Yeah, the one.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with all the battles that you read about, heard about, David's chariots and horses. And now this is David praying the prayer. This is David in his earthly role, singing on his harp.
Yeah.
This is coming out in melody. You know, oh man, we need to let somebody write the song that David sang of Psalms 20. Oh man. and
Yeah.
let's set this up, and we can put the proper translation in it because it was left out, and sing this song. And any of you guys that sing songs, Robert May can do it. I know.
Yeah.
And we have many others. My heart really aches for many, many people who were so much a part of this. It transformed their lives, and they got enough to go ahead and go live life the way they wanted to, without guilt and without shame. And they left all this behind, Daniel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because they thought the epitome of life was to be able to live it without guilt.
Mm.
Now, that was a moment that wasn't a epitome. That was a great thing. But see how you've made it all about you again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The gospel isn't about you. The gospel is what we preach and teach so that others can be free. If you quit because you no longer need it, you're as selfish as you were as a Christian.
Yeah.
A little judgy there, but
Verse 8, they are brought down, but we are risen. Same context of the chariots and the horse, the man system, the covenantal system that collapsed. And what's remaining? This is the end of the 1,000-year reign of Christ and a new covenant being established.
Looks like all in one day.
Yep. And Paul says it this way: he was delivered for our offenses and raised for our justification. Last but not least, verse 9, save Lord pre-incarnate, Christ pre-incarnate. Let the King, capital K, hear us when we call. The ending is the perfect symmetry, Michael. Verse 1 says, may Yahweh hear you in the day of trouble. Verse 9, let the King hear us in our calling. It starts and it ends. Who is the King? The very one who heard us in verse 1.
Yeah, and who's us? It's him.
Christ.
Yeah.
Christ in Christ.
Yeah. There's just a sense of satisfaction I can't even describe right now. I had Thomas Jackson Barnard send me one text this last week, and he said that, and in fact, hold on, I'm going to look at it because I don't want to get this wrong. It was absolutely, it hit me just the right way. I'm telling you. Of course, Jackie is on our Lilborn equation team. So he's understanding the gospel through physics and through scripture also. And seeing the scriptures and the physics all come together. And the scriptures and the physics and the physics and the scripture. He said, I cannot express the depths of peace I am feeling.
Wow.
He was a pastor, remember?
Yeah.
I cannot express the depths of peace I am feeling. That was in a document that we were working on. And I'll tell you the document that he gave that last expression to. This is in the Lilborn equation. You can find it on lilbornequation.com. This is the document that he and I were working on at the time, and it is titled "The Witness of Stillness."
Wow.
And it's talking about the structural physics of stillness. It is not a state. It is not a moment. It is not a condition. It is the governing structural constant, the unmoving framework that allows everything else to move. What is the Lilburn equation? Everything that you've been told moves in physics don't move. So everything else can move.
Wow.
When you invert that, you've become a Christian.
Yeah. Yeah. My goodness.
And so the stability of the things you've been told move, and I'm not even going to go into it. This is not posted yet, may not be posted for weeks or months. We've got so much backed up work. But that is what he was responding to in understanding the gospel and this correlation between this physics that takes everything that current physics says moves and everything else must warp around it, types where you get time warping and black holes and all this. But what the Lilburn equation shows is that the things that current physics says moves don't move, so that everything else can move.
Wow. Yeah, kind of like righteousness, right?
Exactly.
Your righteousness don't move.
And it's the
Everything
same
else
thing.
can move.
That's what we're saying. The physics.
Yeah.
We have the physics of the gospel, folks.
Yeah.
The thing that don't move. Look at the things that we just told you don't move. And they are, and because they don't move, and look at what Christianity has said, righteousness does move.
Yeah.
Right? So you come up with all of this crazy crap that doesn't work. What has happened in physics? They've said that these certain things move that don't move. And you get the religion of current modern day theoretical physics, and you also get Christianity.
Wow.
Goodness. What do you think about all this, Daniel?
I think that if someone is looking for a reason to contribute and to make a pledge, listen to the last hour
and listen to it over and over again. I know what James is going to do on that tractor. He's already backed it up and started all over again. There's so many of you that you don't know. I wish I could tell you about my relationship with you, but it's difficult. I've met Al Vitale one time. I rode in a truck with him, and that's all I got of him in my head is him driving. I think it was a truck. Of course, I've known James Gustafson. He goes way back before your boss started blaspheming my name around the world, along with others. I could start saying, "You're in my heart, you're in my soul. You be my breath now that I am old." Can't sing when I anymore. But it's just so many of you. Kate Benham is still in my heart. I haven't heard from her in years. And it's just so far, it's so deep, it's so wide. And how everybody stays in there, I don't know. Glenda Harrington is going through a difficult time, and I'm texting her as much as I can, I'm thinking about you. You know, when somebody's struggling, they don't need you to engage in conversation. Just let them know that you think about them. The most powerful thing that I could ever know is that I am in your thoughts. To be in somebody's thoughts when you are not present is the greatest gift anybody could ever give me. Yeah, we need money in the GR. That's not what I need. What I need, my satisfaction, I don't even say it's a need. My satisfaction comes to think that somebody's having a nice thought about me. Because, folks, let's face it, there's more people in the world that have really awful, terrible, degrading thoughts of me than have good ones. And see, I had processed that. I have to accept that without calling down fire from heaven or something. So we love you. I absolutely, to use the old phrase, I swear to God, we love you. We really do care. We really, really, really do care. And for those of you that know anyone who is the families, because the whole family deals with autism, my God, just let them know that you think they're great for even doing what they do. Goodness gracious. Heart is heart. And I love doing anything I can do to help people see past the walls. I'm not trying to change your politics. I want you to see past the walls of your politics and realize that love abounds.
And so it is. We must leave you, family and friends. If you'd like to know anything about the Gospel Revolution, or you want to make that pledge today, call our office on
832-318-9339. I wanted to see what it felt like to pause and not get barked at.
Ark, ark.
Got it anyway, didn't I?
Or you can go to www.gospelrevolution.com and hit the donate link. You can find us on your favorite social media network, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please be sure to hit that subscribe, share, and like button on whatever platform you're listening. Now it's good night from Daniel Rouse in the frozen tundra.
And it's good night from Michael Williams. Gosh, we are heading into winter, and we are indeed in full swing of fall pledge drive. Goodness gracious, thank you. I'm absolutely... the piece that Jackie spoke of right now, I am just overwhelmed with thankfulness, gratefulness. It's so awesome. Thank you.
We sure hope you enjoyed today's Powercast. And remember, we'll be here to do the same thing all over again next week. Only
better.
Since you're knocking on the door, you're begging to come in, yeah. Unaware that all the while love's been knocking from within. You are the love you seek, a perfect yet unique, righteous, holy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you feel lost and alone, staring at the unknown, and these words be the cause that guides you right home. We are one, we are love, we are. Know where you gotta be, nothing to complete. It's not a thing that you need, you're the love. Just remember to breathe and take a second off. Look, I'm just trying to remind you that you're perfectly divine, flawlessly designed. When you're lost and alone, staring at the unknown, let these words be the compass that guides you back home. We are one, we are love, we are, yeah, yeah. We are love.
Deconstructing religion and barbecuing the sacred cows of Christianity before your very eyes. You are listening to
The Gospel Revolution.